Vaushites' next co-op adventure. Go!
Give me more of this guy talking.
You play as Mio and Zoe, two aspiring writers that hopes to get published by a new tech company that can simulate their stories to life.
Can I hit you guys with maybe a hot take? If there is a book or story or show or whatever, and the main character is a writer, I don't want to watch it or read it or engage with it in any way, because I know it's going to be absolute trite. There's nothing I hate more than looking at writers writing writers. It almost always turns into the like, who's the Indian director who makes the movies with the twist? Come on, I'm blanking on the name. Shyamalan, yeah. It just gets really pretentious really fast. A lot of like banal insight into the creative process. You know what people who write need to understand? Writing is a job just like anything else. It's just a job. It's like baking. Like, bakers do a lot of cool shit, but you don't see bakers like making, you know, movies about how baking is like the heart and soul of the world, and it's not just like a thing you do, but it's like the foundational building block of all. Like, for the most part, you know, they take a relatively grounded. I'd like to think, well, you can't bake a movie, you can cook one. Game of Thrones finale ego trip. Oh yeah, the finale. Bran the Broken. I remember. For real though, not any Stephen King content. Look, for one, he's Stephen King, right? And for two, I feel like in a lot of his work, that takes a backseat to the plot of the book. Not in all of it. I'm not like a Stephen King aficionado or whatever, but I feel like in a lot of cases, he's not that pretentious with it. I mean, he treated it like a job, you know? I don't think Stephen King is that pretentious. What about the movie Chef? Was Lowell very pretentious? I don't think I've seen that movie. Don't read The Dark Tower. I haven't read The Dark Tower, so.
I can't do this.
Please calm down. It's time. You can't shut. No!
Accidentally, they end up in the same simulation.
What are you doing in my story? Something bad is going on here.
And there, they find out that their stories are about to get stolen.
No one escapes my simulation.
And in order to save them, they have to escape back to reality through the very worlds that they created.
This sounds like a premise that you would see in like a Rick and Morty watching TV episode. You know what I mean? Two writers trying to write their stories with futuristic sci-fi technology fall into the same story. But one of them's a sci-fi writer and the other one's a fantasy writer. Now they've got to escape.
Zoe writes fantasy. So you will, for every level in the game, jump between a sci-fi world and a fantasy world.
What if the writer is portrayed as the villain? That's even worse because people love to make villains that have a point these days. It's fucked up. We need more villains who are just unambiguously evil. I'm not joking. Like, there are so many. To me, this trend is most represented in Thanos, because in the comic books, Thanos wants to kill everyone because he has the hots for death, like metaphysically death, Lady Death, right? That's not a very sympathetic narrative, but he was still a good character. And then they were like, okay, people won't sympathize with Thanos if that's his story. What if instead we give him this absolutely retarded, like 0 seconds of thought can instantly like dissect this premise, like, oh, he wants to reduce overpopulation. What are you talking about? No one buys this. His motivations are super superficial, but they're done to give him a point, which is why to this day, midwits online say stuff like Thanos had a point. Like, everybody on the lower end of the IQ bell curve who thinks they're better than the people who are 1 IQ point below them are like, well, actually, overpopulation is bad, so Thanos had a point, because they haven't thought about it for like 3 seconds.
We at Hazelight love variation, and you'll have a unique mechanic for every level. Let me give you some examples. In this level, you start out by finding dragon eggs that hatch.
Hey, stop licking.
And then they become a little bit bigger dragons with new abilities. But in the end, they grow up to be full-ass dragons.
Wow, full-ass dragons.
And now, you can fly around and kick ass.
This sounds like it was written by AI. It really does.
In another
There's like a whole other world out there for whom stuff like this sounds really compelling.
level, you play these ball droids that can magnetize and shift to different forms. And then the droids become your exosuits.
Okay.
And you can now attack and hack different objects. Here's another one. You play as pigs, and they later become... Anyway, let's not talk about that level for now.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. Alright, that's enough. This is so confusing. I don't know, it's just funny. Have you seen the Did You Just Shift Realities clip from a photo game a year ago? Yeah, that was really mean, because apparently that game was really good, but that clip went mega viral, and everyone was dogging on that game for having, like, Reddit Marvel writing, when it was literally just one voice line. And the game was apparently really good. It was like an indie game they worked really hard on, and then everyone got a negative opinion on it, because it, like, one line where a woman says, like, whoa, did you just shift realities? And then in the clip, he turned the voice volume all the way down. What game? I don't know its name. It's been lost to the dust of history because of that one clip. Forspoken, I think? No, not Forspoken. You're misremembering. Viewfinder. It might be Viewfinder.
Time he did a rewind. How cool would that be?
Hang on, did you just shift reality?
Absolutely devastating. Not gonna lie, it's a good bit. Yeah, but apparently it was a good game. Just like maybe the writing was a bit irritating. I don't know. Feel like people dogged on that shit a little too much. Forspoken, now that dialogue was irritating. At least they wore it on their sleeve, you know? I don't know. You can't destroy me with that, which I wear as my armor. Apparently Idris Elba did his Knuckles lines with gloves. What does that mean? Oh, I see. I'm glad he's having fun. I only saw the first Sonic movie, and I'm probably going to keep it that way. However, I will note, this is the only time I've ever seen flanderization be done well, because in every subsequent Sonic movie, they make Dr. Robotnik look more like Dr. Robotnik. Like in the first one, he just looked like an aviator from 1922. And then they shaved his head and gave him the big mustache, and now he has the gigantic, like, cartoon armor. Like, he has his video game outfit. It's actually pretty based, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's nice to see for once they're not doing the Marvel thing, where, like, over time, everything gets greebled to fuck. They're actually committing to the bit. It's called character development. Yeah, no kidding. Looks good, too. I mean, it looks ridiculous, but that's the point. Opposite of the Borderlands movie, lol. You could not pay me enough to watch that. I could be dying of pancreatic cancer. You could be offering me the money that I would need for treatment, and I still think that would be a really tough sell. That's a rough one. Socialist Gunnut. What's the point in asking, can I send a fashion link? And then sending it anyway. Like, just send it. But also, I don't care. Oh, you've sent it twice. I should ban you. Wait, you sent it and then asked if you could send it? I don't understand how y'all are operating sometimes. I'm a little new. Are we not allowed to send links? It's not that you're not allowed to send links. It's that we've kind of like developed an unfortunate culture of parasociality in the side chat where people will come on here to exclusively talk to me. So you'll have people who have like a comment to make on what we're doing, but they'll at me for some reason. Like I give a shit. Like they can just talk to chat, or they'll just dump links on me or whatever. Like they're only talking at me. And like in a you know, but it's it's not like an issue with the links, or people will drop links with no context on what the link is. That is annoying, but that's not what Socialist Gunnet did. Socialist Gunnet provided actually quite a bit of context. In fact, it took me longer to read the context than it would have to watch the video, which is admirable, I guess. In the, you know.